the Street Fighter 6 art style has really grown on me. I don't think that I never hated it, but I think it grew on me more than when I first saw it. I kind of respect how odd and lumpy and weird it is, while still having it's got these very exaggerated characters, but with very realistic rendering. And it's a interesting contrast that I think sort of, I don't know, it feels like it fits. Now that I've gotten used to it, it feels like it fits in with the Street Fighter universe, which kind of flip-flops between trying to be sort of like the grounded fighting game, but also being ridiculous and crazy. I really like specifically the female character designs in SF6. Now, I think that something that I've never really minded is that in every previous Street Fighter game, I think every woman pretty much is hot. I think like everyone's obviously meant to be very appealing, but the female characters often fall into the category of like their primary appeal is like they're meant to be attractive, like beautiful or sexy or something like that. Not all of them exactly. Maybe not always like primarily that, but that's kind of like, I feel like that that's like a running theme. Not quite as bad as Tekken, where every single female character has the exact same body type. But kind of like in that ballpark. It's just, I don't know, it happens in a lot of stuff. Whereas there's all sorts of different weird male characters, you know, who really run the gamut of different types of designs. In 6, I was trying to think about it, and I was like, I think everyone is meant to be appealing in some way, right? They're not meant to, not everyone is meant to, I don't think there's a single character on the roster who's meant to look like out and out gross or repulsive. But the way in which they handle it has a lot more variety that I think is cool. So there's like obvious examples, like Marisa is like this gigantic muscle-bound woman. She's like slightly less large than Zangief. I think Zangief is kind of the resident biggest character when Abigail doesn't exist. If Abigail was to be in SF6, I would almost want him to be like Marisa sized. I don't know how they would handle a character like, I can't even imagine adapting a character like that into this game. Like that Marisa, maybe closer to Zangief. I don't know, because he's supposed to be so big. But like, yeah, Marisa, that's a very different type of character design for a woman in the series. Manon has this like long, gangly limbs and body shape, and because she's like a gymnast. She's like a gymnast ballerina. These long what would someone call it? Like werewolf claw feet. Lily is like a baby. She looks like an actual baby. I laugh every single time I match against a Lily, because having played both Marisa and Bison, having like their big, imposing, sharp features up against Lily's like tiny little doughy looking smiley face is so funny. It's like hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby. It's the same meme. Even Jury, who is a character who has always been like hot. That's always been a thing that they've tried to push with Jury. Maybe like a little less in SF4, like her introduction, although she was definitely meant to be like a hot, like attractive martial artist. In 5, they went crazy with it, with like the leather outfit and all that. In 6, she's definitely meant to be like sexy. She's like a sexy, crazy girl. That's like sort of her thing. With the feet, with the toe, which they leaned into really hard in 6. But I like how, okay, there's this moment in she's not just like hot sexy femme fatale, which I think a lot of fighting game women end up falling into, is they end up in being, everyone describes them as like a femme fatale. Juri, there's this moment during her, is there level 3 or her critical art specifically? I don't remember. But during her like critical art level 3 animation, the moment where she picks you back up off the ground and the lighting shifts and she like, and it casts on her face in this way that's specifically meant to make her look, she looks creepy. Like she doesn't look hot. She doesn't look pretty. She looks like creepy. You can see like the folds and the wrinkles in her smile and her face. It's like this leering grin that she's got. It's not there was a concerted effort by the animators to say Juri is supposed to look something other than like sexy here. She's not meant to look pretty. She's meant to look like off-putting and a little unsettling, because she's like a psychopath. She's like a masochist. Because like that, they identify that's part of her what is she supposed to evoke? She's like a masochist. She has like these spikes all over her design and like her collar and stuff. She has like the spider theming. She's this like creeping, crawling masochist character who just enjoys inflicting pain on people. And there's like this moment where you get that in like her big definitive, because a super animation, especially like a level 3, is supposed to be the characters. That's where you show off the character's whole personality. It's just, you don't need to have any specific gameplay purpose. The entire purpose of the level 3 is just to the animation, I mean, is to show off the character's personality or their fighting style, something about that. It's just purely character based. The only character I would say who is, I think, meant to look traditionally beautiful on the cast is Chun-Li. And I think that's always sort of been one of her defining things. She is a graceful, beautiful martial artist. She is kind of a very archetypal, like beautiful, I guess from a Japanese perspective, a beautiful Asian lady. She's not Japanese, she's Chinese, but you know. And I think that her design in 6 is like, her face looks very pretty. She is supposed to look very pretty all the time. And then you have Mai Shiranui. The thing with Mai is that Mai is essentially, Mai's origin is from SNK's kind of looser, sleazier days where they were just ripping off Capcom. Or, well, I don't know how much you could consider it ripping off, because, you know, the creator of Street Fighter also made Fatal Fury. But they were pretty... I mean, Ryo, are you kidding me? He's Ryu, but he's orange, and his name is Ryo. Are you kidding me? They were pretty shameless back in the days, you know? They were pulling a Pal World on it. And Mai really strikes me as... I mean, there's developers... Oh, God. There's a developer interview from way later, and they're not even talking about Mai specifically, but who's that, like, blonde, big titty lady from, like, the KOF Maximum Impact games? I don't remember what her name is. But the artists were talking about her and what the intent for her character was. And they said that she was supposed to be sort of a foil or a contrast to Mai Shiranui, where one was the... they said like a traditional like American image of a super sexy woman, and Mai was the Japanese version of that. Like that's I think that it's pretty obvious. She's dressed in this skimpy version of traditional Japanese clothing. She's a kunoichi. She's like a female ninja. She says Nippon Ichi in her super animation. She is very much meant to be like beautiful, sexy Japanese woman, and that's always been part of her character. That's always been a part of like her visual design. Part of why I don't think they've changed her design until just now, until literally this upcoming Garo game. Mai has been the exact, outside of a couple alternate costumes, her base design has been the same for 20 plus years at this point. 30 years? Maybe 25. I'm not sure what the exact date was. So when you're adapting her for Street Fighter 6, she is, I think I can say she is the only other character who I would say is also meant to just be, I would say where Chun-Li is meant to be very beautiful, Mai is supposed to be just fucking hot. She's just supposed to be really, really crazy hot. And they did an excellent job with that. The fucking, it's crazy. I don't mean to get too Coomer on here, but like, have you fucking seen her win animation? Her win screen? Where she slides into like a sexy reclined pose facing it looks like a pinup shot. It's crazy. Both of her outfits look really good. Her face is obviously meant to look very like cute and proportionate. I really like her, what do they call them? The game faces, the loading screen faces. I really like her her closed eye like frown expression. I think it's pretty funny. They did a really good job. Like they made an entire, I don't even know if it's based on any existing art. When you scroll over her in the character select before you actually select her, she's in like this like casual outfit with like a tank top and like shorts. I'll just sitting on a chair. It's like it's insane. Again, I don't want to get too Coomer on here, but like, holy fuck, that's just for the character select screen. And then she has a cool animation where she like flips over and does like a ninja. She like, what is it? She like flings there's like a sheet of fabric, and then when it drops, she's done like a ninja quick change. Just like the walk-in animation during the versus screen, where she's like bouncing, she's like waltzing around, hiding behind her umbrella. Like every part of her animation is meant to make you, if you don't know who this character is, you were supposed to absolutely fall in love and be ravenously horny for Mai Shiranui. You need to, they were like, you should be falling over every time you see her. And I think that's really interesting because of how much effort was put into accentuating that part of the character compared to anyone else in the game. I think it really sticks out when she is I would say like an outlier in that regard. And you know, you can think any of the other female characters are hot, but there's like, as in terms of the aesthetic representation of them, what's the objective for this character design and how we're depicting them? I don't know. It's made me appreciate Street Fighter 6's art direction because I think that stuff becomes more powerful with contrast.